to kind of swing into it, and again, we only pull back the curtain here as much as you allow us. So if this
Sure.
is something that you don't want to answer, please feel free to not answer it.
Sure.
Um, Talking about being released, that is a big thing. We hear about it a lot nowadays, and the IWC and Twitter can say what they want about the dirt sheets and what have you. What's it like? Uh, what's it like going through that, getting that phone call, being released? Because I think you're the first interviewer, and then JJ, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You're the first interviewer that we've had on the show that has gone through that. Um,
Hmm.
so again, if you want to answer, you
Sure.
don't want to
Sure.
answer, please feel free. What's it like going through that? What's it like being in that state of getting that phone call and being told, however you were told, thank you for your services in a way, right?
Yeah.
Just what was that experience like, um, and where was your mindset coming out of that? Well, what was your mindset going into that, knowing that you're getting this phone call, and what was your mindset coming out of it? Because obviously at that point, from then till now, your mindset has completely changed. But being in that, sorry for the long-winded question, but being in
No,
that
you're fine.
state, what was your mind? What was your kind of mind going through? What were you going through mentally, emotionally? How did that all go down?
I mean, at the time, I just kind of felt shocked and numb.
Yeah.
I didn't really cry immediately or anything like that. If anything, my wife was much more upset than I was at the time.
Shout out to the wives. High five.
Yes.
There you go.
She was certainly more upset than I was initially, and at some point later, I gave myself like an hour to cry, and then that was it. But I think my mindset, going through, you get the phone call and you really don't get a reason. You get a letter in the mail next day saying you can't use Big Body Javi or Javier Bernal or whatever like that. That was really the only other interesting thing. But I you don't really get a reason.
Yeah.
There's no real aftercare to this phone call that you get. You just you're calling all the people that you were tied to or connected to
Mm-hmm.
while at your time there. One of the people that I called was Terry Taylor, for example. He's someone that's been through it all in the business, has seen it all in the business. So, he's the first guy that I called. So you just kind of like trying to make sense of everything, putting the pieces together. And obviously this is a brand new world for me. I'm like, okay, you know, I gotta get on this. I went into business mode almost,
Yeah.
I cried at 11 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock I got into business mode and started springing into action. I think I
Fucking
just needed to
hustle.
hit, I needed to hit the ground running. I'm someone that if I allow myself to stay in bed,
Mm-hmm.
then it's game over. So I have to get up. I
Yeah.
have to move. Um, I have to keep moving forward. So my attitude was, I am going to prove everybody wrong.
Oh,
I'm going to prove all the people that believe in me correctly, and then I'm going to prove all the people that don't believe in me wrong.
yeah.
Um, that's my mindset then, and in some ways it still is now. I mean, it still is very much. It's maybe not as much anger and resentment at the moment, because at the time you're bad, you're bitter, you're mad, you're thinking
100%.
like,
Yeah.
why not, why me, why not me? I was just as talented as anybody, and you go through all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been there for 4 or 5 years. I've been there for a long time. At the end of the day, like, and this isn't a negative thing. You sometimes it's a time and place thing, and if you're not what they're looking for in that time or place, on to the next.
Yeah.
And that's I've taken that view for life in general, whether it's wrestling, whether it's personal life, whether it's uh, any other type of work. It's it's either you just got to keep moving, because otherwise, like, you know, I don't know what's the phrase. A shark dies when he stops moving, or something, or a fish does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Swimming,
I don't know the
yeah,
phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, quit swimming.
But
Kind of the same thing. You know, I'm the type of someone that, you know, if I'm not successful, I'd rather die, try to being successful than just stopping. You know, it's, you know,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that, you know, and there's no shock, nothing bad about it, but people that are just done with wrestling once they get released. And that's fine. Like, if if your heart's not in it, good on you to, like, say, hey, I'm gonna pick something else. For me, I think the only entertainment is the only thing that I'm good at. I think wrestling is, think I'm pretty good at. So, you know, it's the only thing I'm qualified for. And I think that it'd be a shame if my story ended because somebody else said that it was.
That's
it's one of those
sorry.
blessing in disguise thing, because I just feel like had that not happened, we wouldn't get the version of you we got now. So, like, it's one of those blessings, and all you got to do is be the best version of you, and you make them have a regret that they ever released you. Not that
Well,
that's your goal or motivation, but that's all you
no,
got to do is be the best version of you.
and that's you're right. No, it is, and it's being the best version of you that you can be. And now that you're not there, you know, whether, you know, people can take this as a negative all you want. You know, now that you're not there, you can be yourself, right? I and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Again, we're here, you know, we're here to learn you. But the way I look at it is, now you don't have to be the character. You can be that person. You can showcase your skills in a completely different light. Hobby to AEW, just saying. Uh, so I mean, you guys out there can be politically correct, but I'll say it: WWE fucked up. It is what it is. I think they fucked up.
I
Because
mean,
again,
people say all the time, you know, people will say Tony fumbled. I do agree that WWE fumbled with Javi. Like, they don't realize
100%.
what they had.
No.
I think something that I've learned about myself over the last couple of years, and I had a friend in WWE that, you know, told me, he's like, you know, when it comes, you know, you're a very humble person, but when it comes to this stuff, don't be humble. Acknowledge, if you're good at something, you can acknowledge that you're good at it. And it's the one thing that I am, is I'm good at professional wrestling. Give me a promo, give me a match, I'm good at it. And I think the shame of it is that, you know, you look at the stint of what I did in WWE, and, like, besides the promos, you might say, okay, well, maybe he wasn't up to snuff or whatever, but you really wouldn't know, given the fact that you just gotta, like, you know, without sounding too much like a Gen Z or whatever, you gotta let me cook. You know, I gotta, you know, you gotta let me, you know, you know, I know I'm a monster if you let me be a monster. You know, I know I'm a, you know, I can put on I do on a consistent basis put on banger matches when that's the objective. So it's like, you know, it's absolutely a time and place thing, but at the end of the day too, if you have a talent, if you have talent, you have skill, you have someone who is a workhorse like I am, I think I'm the perfect employee. I think I'm the perfect guy. So, you know, it's a good time for any company right now with me as a free agent, you know, whether it's AEW, TNA, NWA, if it's WWE, you know, this is a good time for me to be a free agent, because, you know, I should be on everybody's mind right now.
Yeah, I feel like we gave enough to Big Body Hobby, so let's talk about Kid.
Well, really quickly before we get into the core Kid, because he said 3 words during, not this last part, but the part before that immediately entered my brain, because it's a slogan from one of my favorite Disney movies. He said, "Keep moving forward." You know, and I just wanted to go real quick, because I feel like when he said that, it triggered that quote from Walt Disney, and I just wanted to go to that real quick. You know, around here, we don't look backwards for long. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors and doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths.